President Trump is preparing his first State of the Union address. He will lay out his agenda for the year tomorrow night. Priorities include trade, infrastructure, and immigration.
The White House presents an immigration proposal to Congress this week. It creates a path to citizenship for nearly 2 million Dreamers. In exchange, the president wants $25 billion for a border wall, changes to the visa lottery, and an end to so-called chain migration.
Republican Senator Susan Collins is working on a bipartisan immigration deal. She says the White House plan tries to accomplish too much. White House Legislative Director Mark Short says the plan will force Congress to fix the whole immigration system. Congress
has until February 8th to reach an immigration deal or risk another government shutdown. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer suggested to the Washington Post that he is unlikely to threaten another shutdown over the issue. CBS News contributor Ed O'Keefe was one of the Post reporters who wrote that article and spoke with the senator. Ed, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Okay, let's talk about this immigration debate. It seems to be boiling down to how many Dreamers to protect, how much money to spend on the wall, but how close are they to a deal?
Well, the fact that the president now says he wants to basically grant legal status to 1.8 million essentially puts that issue to rest. So now it's a question of what specifically would you be spending money on along the border and how much or what exactly would get built there. But I think the more emotional issue to keep an eye on, the issue that could become a real flashpoint now, is the debate over family-based legal migration, what some people call chain migration, but what Democrats say is a derisive term. The idea here is who exactly would be able to stay or get legal status with a Dreamer, if it were their spouse, their children, maybe their parents, maybe siblings. That's the debate now that I think is going to roil this over the next few days.
Yeah, it came up briefly at the Grammys last night.
That's right.
Camila Cabello saying this country was built by Dreamers, for Dreamers who were chasing the American dream. You're right that it's going to cause a divide, that it can cause a divide in the Democratic Party. What do you mean?
Because you're going to continue to see Democrats, especially in the Senate, who are seeking re-election this year, probably side with Republicans or take a more conservative position on this than Democrats who aren't or who are thinking about running for president in 2020. And you're going to see that on so many different issues throughout the year. Immigration, if they bring up bills on abortion rights or other issues related to the economy, you'll see those divides because they're running for re-election in essentially Republican states.
And what does that specifically mean in terms of a conservative Democrat? Does that mean they'll want more, they'll allow more for the border wall? Does it mean a more narrow definition of chain migration?
Yeah, I would think that they would definitely be supportive, and they are supportive of changes along the border, and they might take the more conservative stance on family-based migration.
On the number of Dreamers allowed in, aren't conservatives a little angry with the president for increasing that number? Is that a real worry, or is that...
Breitbart News called them Amnesty Dawn because of this, and yes, there is some concern. And the president has several opportunities this week to quell that concern, both in his State of the Union address. When Republicans go to West Virginia this week, they're going to have their off-site retreat together to talk about the year ahead. The president could conceivably try to win them over there and say, guys, let's let that go and focus on other issues.
He says his State of the Union will be, his message will be a unifying one. He also said that at the inauguration. A lot of people term that very differently.
Right.
What does he need to do? Does he need to reset the table here?
It wouldn't hurt. I think you keep an eye out for 3 I words. Infrastructure, in all the conversations about the economy. This was the issue that many wanted to see dominate last year. It did not, and it may not this year. Immigration, of course. What exactly does he say that signals what could happen in the coming year? And the third, investigations. If he brings up what's going on with him, that could sour the mood and set the tone in a bad way for the year ahead.
All right, well, then we'll keep our eye on that part of the State of the Union.
Oh. 3 eyes.
I like how you did that.
Yes.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
She's smooth that way.
These are just devices to help follow up and learn what you just told us.
Exactly.
Well done. All right. Thanks, Ed. We'll bring you the President's State of the Union address tomorrow night at 9 right here on CBS. John Gayle and I will lead coverage from New York while Jeff Glor anchors from Washington. Our entire political team will provide reporting and analysis.